Hola, boys! FC Barcelona played another football match, and they won 5-0 or something. It was crazy. But that's not the main point. The main point here is that Rashford scored! They can't say Rashford properly. It's pretty funny. It makes me feel better about not being able to pronounce any of these Spanish guys' names. But Marcus Rashford scored. We got some more insight into him because he played as a striker today, or rotated a little bit with Tony Fernandez when he came on in the second half. Which is interesting because that's not really something we've seen Hansi talk about. We've seen him saying he's just going to be a left wing option and Ferran Torres is going to be the striker guy. But when I saw Rashford, man, he was central. When he scored his goal, he was central. And that gives us a little bit to talk about. Also, I really, really want to highlight that this guy, Pedro or Dro, played as started the game at the number 10 position instead of like Dani Olmo or Fermin Lopez, and that's like very notable to me because there's been a lot of talk about him leaving this week or Barcelona opening the door to him leaving this week, and so it's weird to me that you wouldn't give these guys minutes. I'm bringing up that's why I'm not saying anything. I'm bringing up the squad exactly to see who came in, but yeah, Fermin Lopez did not play at all today. Tony Fernandez and Marcus Rashford came in the second half and played those forward positions. So did Dani Olmo and Bardici. But no Ferran Torres, no Fermin Lopez. Casaro did come in, and there's been talk about him not playing as well. Diego Cochin played, which is cool. Diego is the like American 18-year-old goalkeeper there. Hasn't really played, hasn't really done it, has shown up too much for the squad, and the squad hasn't really needed him. But let's just start off. Pedro Fernandez is 17 years old. Another La Masia gem came out of nowhere this year in the number 10 position. And boys, God, I thought he was awesome. I really, really thought he was very, very good. He was incredible at connecting the team and then pressing. His pressing abilities were like, I was confused if it were him or Rafinha at some points because they were that good. Even though he looks nothing like Rafinha, and yes, like obviously, guys, we're playing a Korean team here. This is not the perfect representation of who's going to play or what's going to happen. But I think it's clear to me that Hansi is. Sorry, I just got to adjust this. Hansi's testing things out, and he is interested in Dro and is interested in playing him at least a little bit. Like, obviously, this doesn't mean that he's going to play a lot for Barcelona. It doesn't mean he's even going to play a little bit. He very well could just be benched behind Fermin and Dani Olmo and not see much time. But as we know, Dani Olmo gets injured. Fermin hasn't really started consistent matches, even when Dani Olmo is out. And with Rafinha and Lewandowski around and all these guys up front with Rashford, Ferran Torres, Lamine, Barchi, Tony Fernandez, there's a lot of guys in that area that I could see it making it difficult for a 17-year-old to show up. But after his game today, I don't know, man. He was linking up incredibly well. Was like key in creating a couple of really good moments. Obviously, Gavi scored 2 goals. And why Gavi's the best finisher on this team now? I have no idea, but it's a fact that at least in this game, Gavi was the best finisher. He's just calm in front of goal, and I guess he always has been. Go back to his Classico goals when Xavi was still the manager. Homie's clinical, and he was today, and that's really cool to see. Gavi and Frankie De Jong started in the 2 CDM spots, which it's nice to see Hansi kind of rotating them in hopes that that's kind of what he ends up doing in the future. Not playing Pedri every single match is not something we're used to. Like, Hansi has just been so reliant on him, and I think a big shift coming this year is seeing if Barcelona can figure out how to manage multiple matches without Pedri. Not like prepping for an injury or anything like that, though that's not a bad thing to do, but specifically just managing the load and spreading out these minutes across all these guys that we do have, all this depth that we do have. And I do think, obviously, Gavi has a lot of quality. We haven't really seen it in that long. He was coming off of injury, then entered a squad under a new manager that had a bunch of guys that had trained with him all summer. It wasn't the perfect situation for him to really go out and really perform incredibly well. Casaro played really well last season, and so there's a lot of depth there. But I'm interested to see how Dro is handled going through the rest of this year, he looked really, really good. And it's hard to really make judgments on new players in games like this, especially guys that operate in that middle of the field that are maybe the defensive layout of a La Liga team that's sitting in a lower block and, you know, planning to counterattack Barcelona. Or it's not going to be able to tiki-taka your way through that as easily as it seemed like Pedro was able to do today. It really, really looked clean, and I'm just excited to see how that moves going forward. He is really good in that spot. He's a number 10. He is linking up incredibly well with the guys, and keep your eyes on this kid, guys. He looked really, really good today, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see him a little bit more this season, maybe in the cup matches, maybe when the club has a lot of load going on them, or we're up by 4, which is going to happen. These guys are going to score like crazy. Keep your eye on it. Now, going forward here, the main starting lineup, nothing really to take away from that, except Gerard Martin played left center back again. What I'm reading into this lineup at the start is that Hansi's beginning to experiment with a few of these guys to try and figure out if they're serious contenders for that position. That's like Dro. I think Gavi and Frankie de Jong playing together was another example of that. And Gerard Martin at left center back, which is obviously something Hansi wants to do. I got to be honest, guys. I don't know how great he is defensively. He is bigger. I think he's like 6'2", or 6'1" and 6'2". So he's bigger than Inigo Martinez. I think the same size or bigger than Kubarsi. And that's not a bad thing. We also saw him make a pretty cool, like he ran up the left wing and assisted Lewandowski on a really solid pass. I don't know if we need that from our center back, but like I remember against Inter Milan when I think it was Inter Milan, nice voice crack there, where Inigo Martinez was playing left back for a period of time. It's nice to have other options there. Balde, Joffre, Torrents is around. He didn't play today, I don't believe. Oh no, he did play. I was falling asleep in the second half though, so because I woke up early and so I don't have a bunch of notable stuff from him. If there was, feel free to point it out. But I think he is very talented, and there's going to be a lot to see from him because we don't have other left back options besides Balde and Torrents. And I think trying out Gerard Martin by Hansi Flick in that position is kind of an admittance by him that Torrents is the next up, you know, with Balde at that spot, while Martin is kind of probably got moved elsewhere in the squad or moved on from. So, you know, we'll see what happens there. Going into the second half, though, Rashford was playing as a striker. It looked like it was Tony Fernandez on the left. Well, at least when I was really paying attention, it was Tony Fernandez on the left, Marcus Rashford central, and Rooney Bardaji on the right side. I really like that. I really like that setup. It's just different. It's exciting. Marcus Rashford is not really a prime, like a central striker anymore. Never really was, to be fair, and I think in this side won't be. But he did get his first goal for the side, which is nice to see. I think he played solidly, and Rooney again did a very solid job as well, creating and trying to find space for himself. I'm just very happy at the way he emulates Lamine. I will continue saying that over and over again because I think that's the main takeaway here. For, you know, yes, he's only 19. Yes, he's just joined the squad, but he has a similar play style. Well, it's not as good, but that's okay. We don't need just as good. We need depth in a similar play style. I've said that over and over again. I like Eric Garcia playing right back. I think he has a very similar profile to Koundé, even if he'll be less supportive going forward because he's going to be a little bit slower. He's just less creative, always really has been. But good eye there, good guy to have for a depth spot, and he can play center back as well, can be moved around a little bit. That's big. And what I'm still waiting for is that we didn't see in the second half that I was kind of waiting for was a little Marc Bernal show up. He tore his ACL at the beginning of last season, looked really good for a couple games, and then we didn't have him. He's on the bench. He's around the squad. He hasn't been fully promoted, though he did travel with the team. So I was hoping for it. We might see him in the Jean Gamper match, but we'll see. I really, really, I want to make my next video on the main channel about him. I think he's that guy. He's going to be huge this year, and I'm just really excited to see him. Nothing else really crazy to take away. Jean Garcia made a couple of saves, looked good, but they were calling offsides a ton, it's a little annoying. Like, a lot of them, like when they show the review, these guys are onside, and so it's difficult. I wish they would let it play out, see how Garcia would make a save or the defenders would track back. I like Araujo so far. I like that he's playing so much. I think that's why Hansi is starting him, is playing him more with the main squad. He's testing him out as well with those other guys, and I like it. I like that he's different. Inigo Martinez and Cubarsí are so similar, and I do feel like that will, it obviously hurt us. They're not the greatest. It wasn't the greatest defensive setup. Obviously, a lot of it has to do with holding the high line in general. It's a very risky way to play. It helps push everybody up the pitch and helps us create, press higher, and score goals, but it also helps us concede goals. And having a guy as athletic as Araujo, even if his decision-making isn't always perfect, over time, I think it can get a lot better to a point where it works. And Gerard Martin was the deepest lying center back in most of this situation. So having Cubarsí next to him hopefully will get that better. I think Araujo has looked good so far. And he's a guy to keep an eye on. Obviously, he can be a great center back. He likes to thrive in more of those, like a Juve sitting back, defending in a worser team. That's why he looked so good under Koeman and even Xavi for a while. That's his setup. Christensen is around, though, as well, which is just more really solid depth at center back, something to be very comfortable with. We have literally depth everywhere that is very comfortable. Yes, it's weaker in some spots than others, but it's good enough around the whole squad that we should be happy. You guys should be excited. Football is starting in, a week and a half? I'm going to be talking about it. We're going to be focusing on it. We're going to be reading into some stuff. Also, I want to let you guys know I did upload some videos on the main channel. One, since yesterday was the 8-year anniversary of Neymar's departure from Barcelona. I made a whole video about that whole story. I'm going to link that right here so you guys can click on it and check it out. Please check it out. It's on the main channel. And I did one on Zlatan as well, which I'll put here, but you can watch that after the Neymar one. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Hopefully, I'll see you all in like 30 seconds when you click on the Neymar video.